and hello everybody, and welcome back to another week of Love and Action Deconstruction Junction program. I am one of your weekly hosts, Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're always going to be loved and lovable. And if you hang around long enough today, you might just get encouraged. We're joined by Tara Priolo's studio. Well, she's not the studio. But the studio is her namesake.
You want to know something about the word studio that it took me like 10 years to realize. I feel like I may have told you this, but one day I went to a doctor's appointment and the lady was like, "Oh, you own your own business." And I was like, "Yep," because you can put in, like what you do. And I had Tara Priolo student. And she's like, "So are you a photographer?" And I was like, "No." But that explains why a whole bunch of photographers over the years have followed me, thinking that I was a photographer.
This also speaks to how great you do with your amateur photography that they think that that's the case.
I think that's crazy. Anyway, so I'm Tara. Sometimes I have a last name, which is Priolo, and other times I have two last names, which is Priolo Studio. But mostly I'm just Tara, if anybody chooses to call me by my name, which is pretty rare. Most people don't call me Tara. Or they call me Tara because they can't ever remember if it's Tara or Tara. Or they just call me Tara. Whatever. T is preferred, okay? Priolo preferred. Apparently y'all have easier time saying Priolo than you have Tara. Anywho, I am your resident biracial. That's not right. I am your resident Black biracial multi-passionate musician. I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. The screaming in the background is my child who is being watched by the husband. So y'all, if you hear that, you know how it goes. There's someone watching the baby. Don't worry about it. If an accident happens, we will take a pause. And we would love to have you here. And that bing that you heard is Dr. Flo sharing to our network. I will be sharing to my network when I get a pause in my breath. But we would love for you to share with your community. So take this link, share it with 5 people today. And then if you are so interested in coming on the podcast with us and having a chitter chat about anything that you're deconstructing or just current events, feel free to apply at our link in bio or fill out the general help form, and maybe we'll read your help form and be like, oh my gosh, that person absolutely should come on Deconstruction Junction. And we would love to have you on that little, it's this one, your name here, that we want you. Okay, we've had Papi Wata, we've had a couple other co-hosts, maybe Papi Wata will come back one of these days, but we would love another name. Or 3, because we can have up to 6 people. So, yay. We must make this big. We found this together last night while watching a football game, because we had been talking about AI. And maybe it wasn't during the football game. No, I think it was during the football game. It doesn't matter. This says, pressing buttons on a computer isn't art, screamy face, or like fear face. I don't actually know what that's called. Unless you're a musician, upside down smiley face. Auto-tune, cool. DJs, artists. Sampling, iconic. No one cared when one Roland keyboard replaced an entire orchestra. Hand clappers became desolate. Triangle players never recovered. As a musician, I've seen tech embraced. As a designer, I've watched people act like Canva made them pros. This isn't new. The tools change. The panic stays the same. Make art or don't, but stop pretending the computer is the problem. And I've just seen too much of a conversation about AI. What I was telling Dr. Flo yesterday is that a lot of it feels very disingenuous. And I understand, I get that people are scared of losing their jobs. I get it. But I also understand that we are under a capitalistic, fascistic regime that no one has money to pay you anyway. Or very few people do have money to pay a graphic artist, what they may want to get paid. And the timeline may be a significant period of time. So why not learn how to use Canva, or why not learn how to give AI a good prompt? And every once in a while, AI does not give us the the greatest answers to our prompts. Dr. Flo said this morning, I want to read it. I want to read it. Put it back up. The ways y'all rail against AI tells me that you are addicted to the struggle. AI is a tool that makes every art form efficient and a higher quality. Stop tripping. Love your favorite AI doll baby, Flo. Lighten the fuck up. YOLO. Yeah. And you know what I realized last night? It was late last night. It was after the Discord room. I was scrolling, and I think I reshared it on my threads. Like someone had posted like, well, I'm an artist, or I'm a graphic artist, da 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 da, and I hate AI. But if you want to do the doll trend, here's some templates. Like, then provide us something. Like, I mean, that's one of the things, that we talk about every so often. Every so often, we long to steal to the land of what might have been. But that doesn't soften the ache we feel when reality sets back in. Anyway, one of the gripes I have when I start talking about capitalism is when people are like, so what's the solution then? Right. And so one of my gripes with people that are so against AI, and again, I understand all of the reasons that y'all are saying AI bad. I get it. I understand. I understand. I understand. But most of y'all aren't providing any solutions. And most of you all, as Dr. Flo pointed out last night, are also engaging in poor habits. I'm really glad I have a pointer today. I feel very like I should have like a
Laviosa.
Like a chalkboard behind me or something.
Whiteboard always is how I have always seen and always will.
I'm really truly thinking about investing in one, which is like $20 or less. Anyway, it's like not an investment.
I promise you, Office Depot or Office
Right.
Max or wherever,
I'm sure there
Amazon would
might be
love.
one in this bucket that's sitting over here. Because I used to have one for the kids when I would teach in the summers. Anyway, y'all engage in other things that are also really horrible for the environment. And by the time, and we've talked about this in terms of the boycotts, like by the time you remove everything from your life that is harmful, like you would literally have to be one of the uncontacted tribe people. And I don't think most of you all are willing to do that. So stop yelling at other people. And I see this argument from some of the same people that are saying things about AI and being so poo-poo about AI. They're like that you're punching sideways or punching down instead of punching at the system. Like punch at the idea that these oligarchs and these billionaires are the ones controlling the AI, and let's take that power back instead of yelling at the people using AI. That's a weird choice to make. It's a weird choice to make. That's it. AI is here. You don't have to use it. Abortion is here. You don't have to get one. Butt sex is here. You don't have to have it.
You do not have to have it, folks. Trust me, it's a commitment, and you do not have
you do not have to do anything you don't want to do. Tattoos have been here. You don't have to get one. Like, dang, folks. But I guarantee you, if you use Google, you have used AI. You've used AI. So are you going to avoid? Okay, let me be done.
You don't have to be done. I just think that the people who I see railing against AI were the people who did not like the pathway to their creative expression from the beginning. They never liked making a song analog and experiencing and also experimenting with all the ways in which you could play within those frameworks and boxes and tools. So I find a lot of the people who are complaining about AI to be people who complain about everything else as well. And they're not going to take the time to go and learn it. I'm interested in the templates you were talking about and where to find those so I can make my doll.
I'm a I'm gonna put it in the general chat. I'll go find it because it's on my page. I haven't been on Threads this morning, so
Y'all just saw my Threads rant that was pasted on the screen. All I'm gonna say is be still when you're out here in these internet streets. Make sure that you have your center. Let's see what they're saying out here in the world. Constantly having a condescending attitude should not be your social media presence, babes. Said to nobody in particular. Shirley Ralph says, remember, you are stronger than you think. Embrace your strength and let it lead you. Bees_US says, gatekeepers open gates too. Some people deserve to see free of charge. Nina Turner, Ohio says, we are still not shopping at Target. Is that true, Tara?
girl, I'm sure some people are. I think the boycotts are still going on. Target is reporting losses, but and people are, cheering like yay. And then I saw something the other day that was a parent of a 19-year-old who got black man who got fired from Target because of low sales. And so and this is where we talked about weeks and weeks ago when these started, that there is no care infrastructure. A lot of people are acting so irresponsibly, assuming that just because we boycott and maybe a business closes, but you have nowhere for those workers to go. You have no way to help their livelihood, right? Oh, we just got a blurb from our friend Angie. She says she's back. She must have gotten the new phone.
I hope so.
I hope so. I hope she's okay. I want the story.
I want the whole scoop.
But yeah, so I know there's people still boycotting. I know there's people that were like, oh, I didn't really need it anyway. I'm like, yes, boycott consumerism. That is a problem here in the United States. A lot of people went to Target to just wander around and get things that they didn't need. Right. Or practicing responsible consumerism, because we do live in capitalism, and we do have to pay for the things that we need, right, to survive, which is unfortunate, because there are so many different ways that we could have played it. But yeah, so I know there's people still boycotting Target. I'm sort of shop where you need to shop, girl. If Target is your favorite, and quite frankly, Target's eggs have been the cheapest for the last 10 weeks. So just saying. Anything else fun on the threads?
Folks are going on to say, let's be done with the AI dolls by tomorrow, please. Rue TF13, who I follow, says, find your tribe, be genuine even when it bothers people.
Agreed.
David Sosa, who I know from New York City, says, craving a Justin Maharaj lasagna.
What's that?
What y'all don't know is this Nuka is Italian at heart. It don't make no sense how good that thing is. So I'm going over here and I'm plugging in. Okay. I have no clue what he's talking about, because when I Google what it is, the first thing that comes up is Threads. It's his thread from a day ago. Which
Maybe
means
it's
that also
personal.
Threads are Threads the first hit out in the wild when it comes to us now. Is that what they're doing?
Mayhaps. I don't know. What should we look up?
You know me. Yeah, Threads is trending high. Threads is trending high now. I just Googled my handle.
Oh, I Googled just my name and Threads doesn't even show up on the first page. Let me Google my handle. Y'all can do this too. It's a good exercise. Oh, wow. Still, yeah, no Threads. My Threads do not trend. Oh, second to last on the first page if I Google my handle.
Yep, right below TikTok.
My below Tickety Talks. And then my Instagram and my website are the top hits, which is fun. It's fun. Anyway, good times. Okay, this was something you posted. And I just wanted to, I was wanting to dig in your brain a little bit more, and wondering if you could talk about it a little bit. And I thought maybe we could talk about some of the levels that pop out to us on today. I saw it again this morning when I was looking for things to bring to Threads. So this is the emotional pyramid of needs. I think it's by Susan. There was a credit on it that I accidentally took out. Susan somebody. Okay. So if we go from the bottom to the top, those of you that are listening audio only, it says gentle acceptance, compassion. Let me actually read the little things that are right next to it. Gentle acceptance. It is what it is. Compassion. Meet yourself where you are. This applies to others too. Routine. Create pockets of healthy routine and let go of what you cannot control. Connection. Nurture relationships. Community is essential to well-being. Courage. Stay open to tough emotions. They can help you identify what matters most. Reset. Cultivate values-based Cultivate values-based habits. And the top of the pyramid is wisdom. Life's beauty is inseparable from its fragility.
Yeah, I just love this when I saw it. We were having a conversation throughout our network. I believe it was like a weekend room of a morning chat with Dr. Flo over on Clubhouse, social audio, and the community was talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Of course, I looked that up, and that immediately primed my algorithm into all kinds of pyramids. And I really like this one because we know we got to eat, we know we got to survive, we know Maslow well, but often in the process of taking care of our physical needs, which is a singular component of Maslow, we neglect all of the many layers of what we need to be okay emotionally. And I am so loved and cared for. So most of my needs right now are not physical. There certainly is an opportunity for growth and expansion, but I don't have major physical needs right now. Most of my needs are emotional. And it's important to know, folks, what your needs are and what they're not, because people will give you all sorts of things, all kinds of advice, all kinds of conversation. But if it's not what you need, sometimes you don't feel like your life is fulfilled. What I need right now is gentle acceptance. I know I'm going to eat because I'm provided for and loved on and cared about and earning and growing. However, gentle acceptance, that compassion, that need for a healthy routine, daily connection, daily sourcing of energy within myself and also people around me that encourage courage, for the life that I say that I want. And then this idea that we could completely set aside who we were yesterday. We do a lot of that around here in the network. And thanks for watching over on TikTok as well. I'll see you, James. We do a lot of that in the network. We're not afraid to become someone new. We're not afraid to build something new. We're not afraid to download an app and delete another one. Like, I'm trying to figure out which app I want Tara to get off of her phone so that she can play another game with me. We haven't made that decision yet. But we're becoming new. And it's mostly through the renewing of our minds. Have you decided today that you would like to renew your mind? talk a lot about recycling, which is a sham we've discovered in our community. But when was the last time you recycled your thoughts? When was the last time you said, you know what? I would like to be more positive on this particular subject. I would like to be more optimistic and more hopeful in this area. I would like to volunteer more. I would like to express myself more. I would like to say no more to the things that do not serve me. When was the last time that you allowed yourself to have that reset? A lot of people are so attached, Tara, to who they are. You know, they're quick to tell you, especially the people who are in their 30s and 40s, I've always been this way. I've been this way a long time. I've been this way a long time. But what if the way that you've been a long time is not serving you today? It may be a good opportunity to lean into this emotional pyramid of needs and lean into the reset part. And then I love the wisdom and I love its explanation. Life's beauty is inseparable from its fragility. We are not in control of a damn thing. Everything about us and everything about life is a free fall. And I know that is just so scary at times. But what you going to do? What are you going to do? What's it going to take, Dr. Flo, to dwell in the beauty of life and how fragile it can be moment to moment? This crazy little thing called love. Speaking of love and its interesting presentation, Justice for Charles McNair bumped into me in Aldi. And of course, Charles is not out. He's been in jail for 44 years and no one seems to care about it. I did see Governor Stein breaking ground and a bunch of photo ops on the news a couple nights ago. They are clearly in a bubble and they do not care about Charles, but I do. And I won't get you into the details of the whole story of how I encountered the executive director of his 501c3. However, I will tell you that there's no indication that these folks are really, really empowered to do everything they can for him. And maybe they're doing the best that they could in the moment, but there's so much more to be done. And all I'll say on this, Tara was on TikTok when I encountered Wanda. Posting your flowery words on Facebook about justice for Charles McNair and then shrugging to my request that you reach out if we could do more for you seems duplicitous. Now, you don't have to want my help or accept my help, but hasn't the goal of liberation for Charles not changed? Or we still ask, is there something else truly going on? And until Charles is free or otherwise, and until I'm free or otherwise, I will continue to ask these questions. Where is the justice for Charles? With empowered response at the grocery store, at the photo op, at the special presentation. Where is the energy for the liberation of people day in and day out? And I think that Charles deserves more than the flip it, and I know that I do. And so we will continue to advocate. Who are you seeing overlooked right now in society, black, brown, or otherwise, Priolo, that you would like to see justice and liberation for in these times?
Jeepers creepers. I would like to see local black artists, particularly black musicians, actually platformed. There are a couple shows and things coming up in town that I know of that feature Black artists. However, most of the featured artists or the lead roles are being played by people who are out of state. Um, and we do there are black black people here, like there are many black people here, and so while again, like, yay, you're platforming black work, you're platforming black composers, you're platforming black art, like it would also be nice to platform the artist that lives 2 seconds from you. So that's what I'm seeing, and I mean, kind of similar to you, where it's like, you know, the organization talks about Charles sometimes, but they don't necessarily help support the institutions outside that could change Black and brown people's lives. And so this is sort of a similar thing where they're pulling in already like super recognized artists, instead of programming. And like, and the other thing about the majority of these organizations, because y'all know arts organizations get more money if you say that you have an educational component. Y'all know that, those of you that have written grants, okay, if you know, you know. And so like, when we're talking about the educational component, and then we're not using local artists who could continuously go into the schools or continuously going into those programs, I sort of have a huge problem with that, because we don't just do the work. Artists don't just do the work for recognition, right? Of which these artists from out of town have, which is why you're bringing them in for attention. But that attention only lasts for a week. It's just like one of those things that just really, really frustrates me. There have been a couple cases here of, well, I think I saw that there is a Black woman running for mayor of Minneapolis here, which would be great. So that's the other story, but I would have to double check on what the name of that person is. But hopefully beating out Jacob Frey, because he needs to go. Jacob Frey. I don't even know how to say his name. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's what I got. Okay, this is a funsy. Just hit play. It's just a good time. It says, for those of you watching back or not watching, it says America falls apart and Black people dancing every decade starting in the 1960s. Lord have mercy. Live in the building. TikTok said, verify. Lord have mercy. Live in the building. I dance, no, I dance here. You ready? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Yeah. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Get up by your seat. Let your body move. Cowboys and cowgirls, they feeling that groove. Sipping on moonshine, fire barrel rolling. I'ma get behind that thing, girl, and hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Whoa, oh, 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 got my boots on the ground. Yes, sir. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
I love it.
It was just a funsy. I loved it too. So it's like, why not include it? Everybody needs a giggle.
Like, what are we going to do? Get caught up
Right.
in the bullshit? Like, absolutely not.
Right. I would say my least favorite of the dances was the 2000s. I did not like that one, but the rest of
Did you
them
like the 2000s?
I didn't like the 2000s. I would do the rest of them though, you know?
We're heading back into my
Threads.
threads. Flawless 920 _ says homophobia is nonsensical. Hummy Crew says be careful with communities that shame people for leaving. Sip and Talk says I highly recommend being quiet. Let me throw some repost on these. Bo Kuberg says your rage isn't the problem. Your silence is. What say you about that one, Tara? Your rage isn't the problem. Your silence is.
If you don't let it out, your rage is going to eat you alive. It will be like just like sadness, just like any uncomfortable emotion, which if you're like, what are these people referring to? Go to the website lovedandlovable.bio.link. There are resources there. Go to the emotion wheels, and you can see the list of uncomfortable emotions is a graph. It's a graphic. Okay, but any uncomfortable emotion, if you try to contain it to yourself and it keeps building and building and building and building, what tends to happen is then we have outbursts like that are really bad. Right, like they're not cute, when it could have been at the initial moment of the uncomfortable emotion you instead said something which still could have pissed people off, but it wouldn't have been worse, right? Because you're not a a teapot getting ready to whistle. um
Little teapot, short and
exactly.
stout.
Have you ever seen oh, what is it called? I think it's called The Perfect Storm, but it's not the movie y'all are thinking of. Those white people out there that y'all have watched, the people on the boat. It's not that one.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I thought.
it's the TNT one where it was like a mini series, and it was a Stephen King book, and this vampire attacks this little town that gets trapped, and there's this girl in it that sings I'm a Little Teapot, and it's really creepy. And anyway, there's that. So there's my story time. The vampire's name is Linoge, in case anyone was wondering. You know, it's a whole thing. So I agree. Let your rage out, folks. Like in a healthy way. Like don't get it twisted. Okay.
You
This
don't get it
says,
twisted because they may ship your ass off to El Salvador. Y si habla español, pero es posible que, that you don't. Okay.
I'm not laughing at this person getting deported. Or kidnapped. I am laughing because yesterday Dr. Flo and I were like talking about an article that he had sent me. And I was like, yeah, this dude is a migrant, but he was illegally deported, kidnapped anyway. And Flo was like, no, he's an American citizen. And I was like, no, dude, like this article says he's a migrant. And it turned out that Flo thought he had sent me an article about a whole different person who was an American citizen and had been kidnapped by ICE. So
A hairdresser, no less, that we still need to make sure is okay.
right. Exactly. What was his name? Andre? Was his
His
name
name's
Andre?
Andre, yeah, Andray. And let me
Okay.
get the rest of his information because, yeah, there's a judge saying, yo, we need daily reports on where this guy is because y'all are not updating. Trump administration deports gay makeup artist to prison in El Salvador. Andre Hernandez Romero. He's one of 238 Venezuelan migrants who were flown from the U.S. to a maximum security prison in El Salvador. And that's crazy, y'all.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And the fact that everybody's just sitting around, and that's most of the people that Tara and I know as well, going, That ain't it.
Right.
That ain't it at all. Y'all better find your words and find your resistance. I would say before it's too late. But we're already in some crazy, um, treacherous fields of gold.
Don't give me the cue. Um, yes. So y'all, and there's a college student in Minnesota who was taken, um, I think, I don't remember if it was an apartment off campus. Anyway, was taken. I feel like 10 days ago now, and I'm not sure that we've gotten any information. I got up in the Facebook comments of Governor Waltz. He's still Waltz to me. Okay. I think he says his name Walls. I don't care. Um, anyway, fix your views on Israel and then we can talk about it and I'll say your name correctly. Anywho, so I got up in the comments and I was like, so like, who can we call? What's the name of this person? So we can like get information on it. And people in the comments were like, people responding to me were like, why would you come here and do that? Girl, is he not an elected official that should be giving us information? Excuse me. Anyway, we're going to move on with this
People are
thread.
weird. I mean, just
People are
generally
weird. Like, I
weird.
was like, you're here in the comments arguing with me who's asking for information to help this person who was kidnapped. And you're telling me that it's my responsibility to go try and find the information that my governor should be giving me.
Once again, y'all attack the wrong people.
Weird.
If y'all actually put all of your vitriol and all of your attitudes, because a lot of y'all got fucked up attitudes. If you directed your fucked up attitude towards people in power who don't want to see you afford life and existence in life, we'd be okay. But y'all like to punch down on people who y'all perceive as weak, like your children and the elderly in your community and shit
Gotcha.
like that. And that's why I don't let that stand in my community or otherwise, because there's actually things that go bump in the night.
I wanted to say something about the elderly, and then I swear I will read this thread, y'all. In speaking of helping, like doing something that actually makes a difference, in Black Duck, Minnesota, there is a store called the Black Duck Floral and Gift Shop. I love them. I loved the previous owner. There is a new owner. I think she bought it like maybe 8, 10, 12 months ago, something like that. Anyway, since she has owned it, she has twice now for Christmas and now for Easter, done sponsored if you go to their Facebook page, I think they took the sponsorship down. But they are sponsoring like 90 seniors and giving them plants for Easter. And it's $20. And I saw this morning that they had filled them. Last I had checked, like yesterday sometime, they still had 12 to fill. But they had filled all of them. And so I just wanted to shout out a company that's like doing some cool things to help seniors feel a little more belonging. And they
I
do.
want to try these vanilla rum cashews. I got distracted.
Oh, great.
Shiny marble.
And if you live up there, they do deliver and they do really great arrangements. I've sent my mom a fair few of those. So yeah.
That is beautiful. That's super
It's
beautiful.
really fun. Okay, so this is one of those threads, y'all, that like I partially agree with and I partially disagree with. We'll talk about it. I'm gonna read it first. So this is from Karina X Joseph, who I know nothing about. I just saw it and like was like, okay. The world still wants Black creativity. Obviously, that's the part I agree with. It just doesn't want to pay for it, protect it, or prioritize our rest. But we are still showing up, still creating, still dreaming. This is a thread for the Black creative navigating burnout, brilliance, and being seen. What are your thoughts, Flo? Because there are parts of this that I like fully agree with, right? Like we are still showing up, still creating, still dreaming. But one of the things that like you have said over the last for forever, like as long as I've known you, is that if we like identify and believe that no one wants to pay or uplift us because of whatever, right? Then no one will pay, protect, or prioritize. Like that belief and that identification with that, it systemically it may be true, but we have instances of examples that it is not true, right? There is evidence that it is not true. But I also
Someone
see, go ahead.
someone that looks like me and you have thrived in every time imaginable. Someone that looks like you, someone that looks like me, someone darker, someone lighter has thrived in every decade that those people were dancing in. This person is duplicitous. This person is on the gas pedal and the brake at the same time. The world still wants Black creativity, positive affirmation, just doesn't want to pay for it. Negative affirmation, protected or prioritize our rest, negative affirmation. But we're still showing up, positive affirmation, still creating, still dreaming, positive affirmation. This thread is for the Black creative navigating burnout, brilliance, and being seen. Negative affirmation. Y'all gotta, you really have to decide. We were talking about this earlier with the AI. We have to really decide, and you all have to really decide if you want to be abundant in your beliefs in these times or in a poverty vibration. We cannot decide for you, but this person hasn't decided yet. 38 people are vacillating with them. I am exhausted because those are the same number of words that could be put into a script. You experienced this when you were working on the Build the Table project in your local community. Tons of people wanted to complain about not having access to the space and the resources and the environments to hold them in their concern to be seen as multifaceted and credible talents. But we could not get them around the table more than 3 times to actually lift something that was positive.
Not even twice.
Yeah. So I think that we're moving towards a moment, and we've said it in Love and Action Network several times, where it's put up or shut up. As it relates to the revolution that is joy, y'all are either going to be actively in it day in and day out, or you're going to be seen as a person who needs to make up their mind. There are people who want to pay for everything, including what my feet look like. Stop playing and play accordingly, in the words of Angie. Stop playing and play accordingly. Tara, you watch more news than I do. Can you, in very layman's terms, to the best of your ability, frame up what's actually happening in Gaza right now as the latest? Are they dropping bombs or not dropping bombs? Are the people fed or not fed? What is happening over in the Middle East?
Yeah, I haven't. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I very rarely do this, but I think I've listened to 2 news episodes this week, and have really avoided most news this week. And part of that is just because there is this like big, the news runs on capitalism and everybody is trying to fight for attention. And so the last I had heard is very similar to this. Basically, like Rafah is gone, aid isn't able to get in. I think I saw that over 200 people were killed in a strike, and Israel has broken the ceasefire. There's some, it seems like there's some talks, but like, what can you trust, I guess? I don't know that well, I did hear tell from, and I haven't seen news on this really, but Ijeoma Olua mentioned that there had been rallies in America for Palestine and Gaza, but I had not, it didn't get the attention of the April 5th protests, get-togethers, parties, whatever you want to call those. Whatever you want to call it. And you know what? Have a party that disrupts, okay? Like, the people that have divorce parties, like, Flo said this last week, but like, let's have a protest party. You know what I mean? Like a block party, like get up in the street, get up on the highway. Let's have a block party with the barbecues, with the smokers, with the bouncy houses. Like, let's do it. Let's have a party.
In the name of something positive.
Right. So I haven't the news in particular, and even like leftist news, which is what it is because it's anti-Black for the most part. But anyway, even leftist news really doesn't talk about Israel and Palestine all that much. And I think a lot of that has to do with that so much of it is happening behind closed doors right now. And I don't think that the communication lines, even between Israel, like Netanyahu and the White House, are very open. And the last I had heard was Netanyahu was saying that they should finish the job and basically level all of Gaza. So that's what I know.
You can't be considered people who have a heart and do things like this. We can't be considered a nation of people who love others and do things like this. And everyone in our community and everyone that we talk to is responsible. Tara and I talk to each other daily, and we are responsible to this. We have been calling the network Love and Action into being responsible in our own ways for this. A responsible meaning that you have the ability to respond to the news that is saying that there is a group of people seeking to level the livelihood and complete infrastructure of a community that existed. Mostly brown people. Heavy on the eugenics. And we are standing back as a collective and watching these people be decimated. And Tara and I and team are just choosing to say, that's not okay. We're not going to mince words at the dinner table about it. We're not going to mince words in our private and public meetings about it. We have like 3 active genocides going on at the same time with more pending. And you all want to be silent in ways that is just unacceptable to me. And we're calling you out in these podcasts and in these sessions to call you back in to those piranhas, as we were talking about, of love. These spaces where people can come and be encouraged, equipped, and empowered, and hopefully it ripples out. If every light worker in every community chose to amplify and expand and to take up more space, we might be engaging a different kind of world. The ways in which I seek to contribute is through the Love Revival and Academy at Love and Action Network. We are actively recruiting creatives, business leaders, entrepreneurs, emerging creatives, and business leaders of all walks to come into harmony with their dreams and to learn the skills that are needed to cook a dream. This is what mine looks like for you AI unbelievers, AI non-believers. I love AI because it allows me to see myself in a visioning process in ways in which perhaps I'd never seen myself before. The whole choir has a crown. I have the crown. I've got the jacket, I've got the body, I've got the beard and the bow tie. This allows me in my quantum field work, for those of you who are part of my coaching programs, to really see myself in the highest version of myself. I need to send this to cousin Mimi. This is where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know every twist and turn. You know, I have an idea.
I heard breathing behind me and I was like, maybe it's a spirit. It's the dog.
Which, the spirit of Millie or Moose?
Moose. It was just like suddenly very present. And I was like, oh my God.
We love you, Moose. We are a fan. And come on tour if you'd like to, Moose. We have adopted Moose into our soul family.
Moose is black and white, just like me, baby.
Yes, he is, and loved and lovable just like you as well. And we have started to assemble a tribe, if you will, of Black artists who want your help. They want you to share their content. They would like you to like the things that they do and comment and save and do your best, if you're out there listening, to pay it forward for artists who want to make the world a better place, especially those who are often made invisible because they don't look like the perpetuated status quo. I see color. And I know that there are certain colors of people who need more help than others. So we're not going to pretend like we don't see what is. We're going to meet the need. We're going to spread the seeds. We're going to water them. We're going to give them light. And we're going to watch these creatives grow. What has been your favorite part, Tara, so far about maintaining the Adopt a Black Artist program?
I have really, so last night we got a comment. I accidentally posted it twice on my Instagram, but we did get a comment on one of them. I don't know if it was the Love in Action one or if it was mine. But anyway, we got a comment from a person that I know in the community who said that they were listening to our featured artists album and like that they had gained a new fan. And, as much as like follower numbers don't really matter, what does matter is the knowing somebody else out there is listening. Like, that's why we put in the caption, like, yo, we literally were just in public space listening to your single and we loved it. And we're so excited to get to know you more. So my favorite part has just been, even if it doesn't like move the needle necessarily or get them thousands of dollars in donations, it at the very least is giving them exposure to communities that they may or may not have ever reached. And that is one of the foundational things about our relationship that we're now giving back, right? So like I would have never met Flo if it wasn't for the internet. I would have never met Poppy. I would have never met Angie. I would have never met Her Story True. I would have Angie Pangie. She's getting to be like me. She got 11 nicknames in the network. I would, like there are so many people that I wouldn't have met outside of the internet. Like I think about Elena, I think about Fiona, I think about James, I think about Marcel. I think like all of these people that I would never have met had it not been for the internet, and like seeing some of them come forward and be like, I followed this artist, or I've been introduced to them, or I want to help them, or how, like that's really inspiring to me. And I hope that those of you that are of the palm colored persuasion, if you consider yourself white and not an agent of white supremacy, that you decide to share one of these posts to your stories, or download the slides and post them on your own page, or nominate a Black artist that you know. Because as much as they might have success and you consider them to be more well off than you or ahead of you in some aspect, I guarantee you they could use more. and you can be an integral part of that. So that's been my favorite part. Also, the last week we had Lena, and Lena's grandmama nominated her, and I will probably never stop crying about that because I think that is just so beautiful. So anyway, those are my favorite things about the program so far. It's been really fun to be introduced to new artists and introduce you guys to new artists.
We truly do have the power to connect and bridge and love and care. And we decided in the network to get out of the way and just become that connection, and to be that connection and to honor it and to thrive in it. So we're excited about that. Y'all keep plugging in and nominating more artists. What's happening in your studio, Tara, as it relates to sponsorship?
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier, money is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter when you tariff China 150%, and so much comes from China. That means that money gets tighter. So while currently I have a sustainable amount for this particular family, I still am keeping my goal at $200 a month in order to have a pool of funds that I can pull from at any given time, whether that is, a student that needs subsidizing, somebody coming into Dr. Flo's studio, a donation-based student, someone that just needs a little bit of help, or even creating an album, etc. I just want a pool of money to be able to pull from, and $200 a month, I don't think is a huge ask from even my corner of the world.
All things are possible to those who believe. We're believing for the sponsorship of $200 a month. You all can, 20 people giving $10 each a month is something that can be done. And we will just continue to believe, ask, believe, and receive. We will continue to believe in ourselves enough to ask, believe, and receive. We will continue to honor the callings in our heart that the world deserves access to education, no matter what they make. If y'all want to be part of something bigger than yourselves, as we unite the talents of diverse artists all over the planet to celebrate the power of love through music, theater, and art, we would love to hear from you. It's one of the top links on our websites now, in addition to our newsletter that wasn't there, but we put it back. We are committed here to having fun with our daily lives and to spread that through all kinds of programming. Private studios, artistic offerings, the holding of space and listening online. These are all powerful ways that we show up in community and seek to build in that power of love. It's not something that's always exciting. I bore people daily on TikTok, but it is something worth having. Peace in your heart that then gets put into art that brings peace and joy and hope to other people. I think it's worth it. And if you are out there wanting to sink your teeth into something new and fresh and vibrant, let me know. I would love to get your audition through the website. I also would like to teach all of you how to use your voice, how to speak up for GASA, how to speak up for your creative expression.
I was trying to get to the mute button, but I couldn't get there, so I gotta be quiet.
I'm just hoping that it didn't explode out the other end, because I know when you try to close the top, it may explode from the bottom. Listen, folks, free masterclasses daily. You just saw how to sneeze on a podcast without losing your shit. What are your closing thoughts, Paolo? I love you so much. Thank you for your partnership and the daily giggles. There was a question earlier in the week in the morning room with Dr. Flo, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, every day online in some capacity. There was a question about laughing out loud and what makes you laugh out loud and what brings you joy. And we got a whole conversation happening a few days ago in the morning about the laughter and joy pouring out of her face now. We find a reason to laugh every day in Love and Action Network, and we do invite you all to come and laugh with us as often as you'd like.
Yeah, like life isn't, it just doesn't have to be that serious. I think that a lot of people out there look at activism and look at social justice and look at, fighting the man or whatever version of that you have in your language that feels good to you, and you think it has to be super serious. You think you think it's like head down writing papers, like going out and being so serious and knocking on people's doors and being like, please sign my petition. This is such a bad thing happening, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be saying, hey, I've got a boombox. You want to go to the park? Like it can be, hey, I'm getting this group of kids together and we're going to put on a show. It could be, I want to read this really funny book with you. It could be escaping into fantasy and having a discussion about how that resembles and disresembles real life. There are so many different ways to participate, and they don't all have to be showing the world how stout you are in your belief. Like, it doesn't have to look like this. It doesn't have to look like using all caps for the word creative. It doesn't have to look like that. It can look like joy is the revolution. And those of you on the internet that are like, joy is not the revolution, I don't understand you. And I'm glad you're not in my circle. I'm glad you're not. But for those of you that want to experience joy and want to tell other people about your joy, we're your people. You want to tell people about your love? You want to show how you love? You want to put your love in action? We're your people. We are your people. We laugh every single day at stupid shit, serious shit.
And it also goes back, Tara, to one of the core premises that we talk about in Love and Action Network almost daily. I think we talked about it earlier in here today. What kind of days do you want to have, beloved? Like, we're making these choices, and Tara can teach a whole masterclass on choices. We are making choices daily about how we want our days to unfold. Do you really want to have a good day? That's like a real question that I pose to so many people on threads and in real life. Like, are you committed, Tara, Poppy, Angie, Her Story, Cece, Jimmy Jams, Flo, you name it. Are y'all committed to April 12th being a good day for you?
He just checked the date, y'all. He looked at the corner of his computer.
I sure did. I have no clue. The other day, Poppy Water woke up and said, "It's Friday, King. Happy Friday." I said, "It's Friday." When you become an entrepreneur and you become immersed in the work, and you also have very, very strategic ways of disconnecting from the work when you need to disconnect from the work, you do forget what day it is. But as long as you got joy, baby.
Joy. Love's great joy. I almost said God, and then I was like, I don't believe in God today. Sorry, Charlie. Oh well.
Something is scientifically holding it all together.
Something happens when I call you. Thanks for watching, y'all. We really should ask some of our friends to like write a little closing.
You want a jingle?
I don't know. It might be fun.
Listen, we have friends in high and low places.
I've got a friend in
low places where the
and the places my blues.
my blues